Have you ever come across a mystery that makes no sense at all? Where every clue only makes things more confusing instead of bringing answers? Today, we're diving into 3 true stories that have plenty of evidence but absolutely no logic. Each one feels like it should have an explanation, yet somehow, no one can figure it out. And hey, if you love hearing about the strange, dark, and unexplained told like a story, you've found your people. We drop new mysteries 3 to 4 times a week, so subscribe, hit the bell, and maybe make the like button a nice cup of coffee. Just make sure it's weak, cold, and full of too much milk. Alright, let's start with a man who vanished right after the Super Bowl happened and somehow turned up 1,600 miles away, dressed like a soldier. In 1993, David Liwis seemed to have life figured out. They was a respected lawyer in Amarillo, Texas, a devoted husband, father, and a man who spent his free time helping charities. He wasn't the kind of person you'd expect to just disappear. That's exactly what happened. That January, his wife Karen and their 9-year-old daughter planned a weekend trip to Dallas. David decided to stay behind. He didn't want to miss the Super Bowl. So, on Sunday, the 31st, his family came home right after the game ended. They expected to find David on the couch, watching post-game highlights. Instead, he was gone. The TV was still on. The VCR was still recording the game. In the kitchen, Karen noticed something strange. His watch and wedding ring sitting neatly on the counter. And in the fridge, 2 turkey sandwiches freshly made, untouched. No signs of a break-in, no signs of a struggle, just a quiet house, and no David. Todd at first, Karen assumed he'd gone to watch the second half with a friend, Todden, but when he didn't come home that night, or the next morning, she called the police. Within a day, investigators found his car abandoned downtown, near the courthouse. Under the floor mat were his car and house keys. Inside were his wallet, ID, credit cards, and checkbook, everything neatly in place. Even stranger, they found that David had recently deposited $5,000 into the family account and bought 2 plane tickets, one from Los Angeles to Dallas, and another from Dallas to Amarillo. But there was no record of him ever using them. When Karen heard that, she told police something chilling. Her husband had recently confided that he was afraid for his life. He was scheduled to testify in a major lawsuit involving his old law firm and a wealthy client, and he was being pressured to lie. David refused. He told his wife, "I'm going to tell the truth, no matter who it hurts." Police searched for months, but there were no new leads. No sightings, no activity on his bank cards. Eventually, after 11 months, they decided David must have left on his own. The case went cold. And then, 11 years later, it reopened itself. In 2004, a state trooper in Washington state was scrolling through an online database of missing persons when one photo stopped him cold. It was David Liwis. He looked exactly like a man who'd been killed in a hit-and-run accident back in 1993, the day after David disappeared. That unidentified man had been walking along a rural highway wearing full military clothing, carrying no bags, no ID. DNA tests confirmed it. The mystery man was David Liwis. But the confirmation only deepened the mystery. How did he get from Texas to Washington in less than a day without his car? How was he dressed in military gear? No. And what was he doing walking down a dark highway over 1,000 miles from home? To this day, no one knows. Tyson believed David was silenced because of that deposition. Others think he suffered a breakdown and fled in fear. But what really happened between that Super Bowl Sunday and the moment he was found remains one of the strangest disappearances in American history. And that's where David's story ends, or at least, where the trail goes cold. No one knows how he traveled 1,600 miles overnight, why he was dressed like a soldier, or what really happened in those final hours. All we're left with are questions, and a mystery that refuses to make sense. But if you think that's strange, wait until you hear what happened next. This is the story of 2 women, both named Mary Morris, who were murdered in Houston, Texas, just days apart. To this day, no one can explain why. If you're enjoying these deep dives into the strange and unexplainable, go ahead and hit that like button, subscribe, and turn on all notifications so you don't miss what's coming next. You can also click the link below to jump straight into the full video about the 2 Mary Morrises, one of the creepiest coincidences ever recorded.